No matter where I am in the world, the question I often get is, how much money do I need in order to retire? So stay with me, and we're going to discuss this very important topic. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Your Money Mindset, guiding you to achieve lasting financial freedom and peace of mind. I'm your financial mentor, John MacGregor. You know, almost every time I hear the question, how much do I need in order to retire? The common answer is typically right around $1 million. But where does that number come from? Well, perhaps $1 million is more than enough for you and your family to enjoy your retirement. But then again, it may not be. Retirement is a milestone that almost everyone has in the back of their mind, right? As you work hard towards building your career and getting to that point where you can retire, and whether you're building your own business or working for a company or maybe you've recently changed your profession, everyone wants to retire someday, right? Nobody envisions themselves working at, McDonald's or Walmart in their 70s just to get by, and it shouldn't have to be that way either. But tragically, it happens more and more often these days because unexpected situations arise, and mainly, people just don't plan properly. The amount of money is different for everyone, and this is one of the most difficult things to figure out. So how much are you going to need to live on when you retire? Well, I will say there are many factors that come into play when figuring this amount out. And some of those factors are, they're beyond our control, like inflation, for example, and medical care. Even though it seems great that the federal government is coming to our rescue and providing $1,200 for every adult in the United States, and it looks like they may do it again through a stimulus plan, pumped up, and they're going to pump up unemployment insurance by $600 a week for everyone who filed a claim. Where is that money going to come from? Look, there is no money fairy, contrary to what so many people think. We aren't producing more. We're simply printing more. The Federal Reserve, a private bank, mind you, having absolutely nothing to do with the United States government, is printing more money at a staggering pace. Essentially, it's just monopoly money. And that's driving us deeper and deeper into debt. And now we're well over $24 trillion in debt, and it's rising faster than ever. That's over $200,000 per household in debt. And that's going to have a major impact on inflation in the next few years. So what you may calculate needing as a retiree in 20 years, today, might be significantly more than what you originally thought. Not to mention the fact that Social Security is expected to go bankrupt. Yes, bankrupt in about 10 years. And that's just not my guess. That's precisely what the numbers show us when you do the math. And what's going to happen then is still anyone's guess. It will still exist, but the age of retirement for collecting Social Security already went from 65 to 67, and it's expected to go up to 69. And in 20 years, it could be 75 years old or even higher. Personally, I'm not counting on Social Security at all. So $1 million might not be enough after all. And I have to be honest with you, it might not, depending on your lifestyle, your desires and dreams for how you want to live your life during retirement. And many other things all come into play. Look, there's a basic premise that you'll live on 80% of your pre-retirement income as a retiree. And of course, that does not take into account a number of things, including whether or not you've paid for your house outright. And by then, a variety of other unexpected expenses may arise. And the big one being medical care. You might be carrying a mortgage of $1,000 a month or more right now. And if you have that fully paid off and decide to remain in the house during your retirement, then you might be able to live on less than 80% of your retirement income, right? But you also need to consider property taxes, maintenance, and upkeep of your home. And in some states like New York, Connecticut, my home state of California, property taxes are going through the roof. And they're only going to go higher, given the condition of the U.S. economy and the economy of so many poorly managed states throughout the U.S. In some cases, these taxes are equal to the average mortgage on your house. While you might be spending $1,000 on your mortgage, you might be paying $1,000 a month just on property taxes. So what if you move to a state that doesn't have property taxes? Or what if you're currently living in one that doesn't have them, but soon decides to begin collecting property taxes to cover their financial shortfalls before you reach retirement age? It's not going to be easy, but you need to figure out how much you expect to need during your golden years. You've got to do that now. And believe it or not, nearly 50% of families actually spend more money during their retirement years than they did while they were working. And consider this, nearly a third spent 120% more. Yeah, it's pretty scary. So let's talk averages. Right now, the average age of retirement is 63. And so for a person who's 63, their average life expectancy is 85. That means if you retire at 63 and live the average length of time from that point on, you'll have to support yourself for, get this, 22 years. If you plan on retiring at 67, you'll need to have at least 10 times your salary saved in order to maintain your current lifestyle. If you do, you can consider living based on a 4% rule. This means that you can withdraw 4% a year from your retirement portfolio and live on that hopefully have enough for the rest of your life. So if you and your spouse combined earn $100,000 a year, you should have $1 million saved up in various investments by the time you retire. And living off 4% means you'll live off $40,000 a year. And depending on your investments and how they perform, which is very important, you might maintain that $1 million or begin chiseling it away a little bit over time. However, that should be enough to sustain you through your retirement. Now, there are always caveats, and the big one, of course, is market performance. If you retire and the market takes a hit in the beginning of your retirement, that can and will really throw a wrench in things. In a later episode, I'm going to discuss a retirement income strategy using a time-segmented investment strategy. Today's episode was less about strategy, but more about awareness in your mind and a mindset. You can start thinking about this critical topic now. So let's get back to it. You must take a close and hard, honest look at your lifestyle. You need to ask yourself, what is your current lifestyle today? That means, what are your typical expenses like? What are your spending habits? What do you enjoy doing on a regular basis? And what do you see yourself doing in the future? Some people love going out to various restaurants, a couple times a week. And if you spend an average of $50 or more every time you eat out, and you do that 2 times a week, that's almost $500 a month. I'm not judging at all. I just want to be clear of that. I'm simply using that as an example. You might love buying new clothes every spring and summer season. You could even enjoy getting a new car every couple of years. While I see that as throwing money away, frankly, again, I'm not here to judge. All I'm saying is you need to understand your lifestyle. Whatever habits you develop while you're working now, you will likely keep after you've stopped working in the future. So if you enjoy eating out a couple of times a week, now that will probably remain the same, if not increase during your retirement. If you prefer to have a new car every 3 to 4 years during your working life, that may be the same when you're retired. That's why you need to figure out what your lifestyle is like now to determine how much you're going to need to sustain that same lifestyle in the future. Also, you need to consider federal and state income taxes on pension and retirement account distributions. Not all states impose income taxes on pension and retirement account distributions, but some do, many do, and more will. Currently, 13 states tax Social Security as well. So make sure you understand your current state's tax on these funds so you're not caught by surprise before it's too late. And lastly, don't get too comfortable with your guaranteed pension. You may very well enjoy the fruits of the pension you were promised during your career, but it's looking less and less likely, sadly, that actually not going to happen if you're planning to retire 15 or 20 or 30 years from now. Unfortunately, when people have what they assume a guaranteed, rock-solid pension coming during their retirement, they stop saving or they don't save nearly as much as they would have otherwise. And given the fact that so many pensions are underfunded today and many underwater, many of these, quote, again, guaranteed pensions are being challenged in the court system and losing. In other words, the court is siding with the pension, not the pension recipients, and they are lowering the amount you were promised you would have received. Some cuts have been very severe, and this trend will continue. Look, if there's no money, there's no money. And the other solution to this, what our politicians are so good at, is raising our taxes. Taxes for everyone will have to go up in order to cover these pension shortfalls. So what I want you to do is assume it's not going to be what was promised. The long-term financial health of this country and many private pensions is weak. If you want to truly understand how much money you will need in order to retire, assume that your pension will pay you half of what was promised. And then base it on your current lifestyle and expected spending habits during your golden years. I am very concerned what's happening to this country and what will, not might, will happen in the future. And I'll be speaking more on this in coming episodes. But I cannot stress enough to you the utter importance of planning for your future now. It's imperative for your future, and I highly advise you to consult with an experienced, qualified financial advisor to come up with a workable plan based on your current income and spending habits, so you're not caught off guard when retirement age is finally racing straight for you. And as I always say, it's never too late to start your journey to financial freedom and peace of mind. And your financial destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice, your choice. I've got a lot of free resources on my website that can get you started immediately. And of course, my new international best-selling book is a great way to get your mindset straight so you can, in fact, make those healthy decisions you need for a happy, joyful, and abundant future. I don't think there's a better time for this book than now. So with that, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Would love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.